In the noise of our modern world, we are rarely alone. Our minds are constantly bombarded by information, thoughts, distractions. But what would happen if being truly alone, completely alone, could be the path to changing your life? Miyamoto Musashi, the legendary samurai, believed it. He spent most of his life in solitude to hone his skills and develop his philosophy. In his final work, The Book of Five Rings, Musashi left us his principles that guide a person towards a fulfilling life through the power of solitude. Join us as we explore Musashi's philosophy on solitude and discover how being alone can truly change your life. Before delving into the profound thoughts he left us, let's discover who Musashi was. Musashi was a revered figure, a ronin, a high-level samurai. He was born in 1584 in a Japan torn apart by civil wars. His swordsmanship skills were unparalleled, but it was his deep wisdom that continues to inspire us. Even after centuries, he was an artist, a philosopher, and above all, a swordsman who won over 60 duels, many of them deadly. His journey was marked by an endless series of violence, and it was precisely this path that led him to profound introspection and wisdom. Musashi's solitude was not a life of a monk away from society, but rather a mental solitude, a self-imposed state of mind where the noise of the external world was silenced. He affirmed how solitude helped him forge his body and mind without distractions and to deeply know himself. In the peace of solitude, he found clarity, freeing himself from the influence and judgment of others. It was an opportunity for learning, growing and confronting one's strengths and weaknesses without the external noise that often clouds our judgment and perception of ourselves. But now let's delve into the practical ways to embark on our path of solitude, guided by Musashi's wisdom in his great work, The Book of Five Rings. One of the principles that Musashi teaches us is the value of self-sufficiency. Not seeking pleasure for pleasure's sake serves as a reminder that fleeting happiness derived from external validation or material goods does not lead to lasting fulfillment. Instead, Musashi urges us to find within ourselves, in our actions, and in our personal growth. Another key point of The Book of Five Rings is the principle of never relying on a partial feeling. This exhorts us not to act impulsively based on transient emotions, but to carefully reflect on our actions and their consequences. Our decisions should be made with care, fully aware and independent of fleeting feelings or external influences. Furthermore, Musashi emphasizes the importance of being detached from physical and temporal things. In his work, he advises, "Do not hold on to possessions you do not need." This advice to let go of attachments extends not only to material possessions, but also to relationships, habits, and thoughts that no longer serve us. It's a lesson in decluttering our physical and mental lives, creating more space for growth and transformation. Another precept states, "Do not fear death." This is not an invitation to recklessness, but an encouragement to live fully and fearlessly, with the understanding that death is a part of life. It's a reminder to live each day as if it were the last, appreciating every moment and seizing opportunities when they arise. Finally, Musashi exhorts us to be detached from desire. This teaches us to free ourselves from the constant craving for more, which often leads to dissatisfaction and unhappiness. It's about learning to be content with what we have while still striving for self-improvement. We are well aware that today's world is much different from Musashi's time. We are constantly connected to technological devices that keep us more connected and united than ever before. And while this may seem like a positive aspect on one hand, on the other, it risks completely preventing us from carving out time for ourselves and using solitude to our advantage. We are constantly distracted, confused, and unaware, daily bombarded by negative news and mindless content. We can no longer listen to our hearts. Our souls are trapped and asking for help. So, how can we implement Musashi's teachings on solitude in our interconnected world? Firstly, we can practice solitude by regularly taking time away from the frenzy of daily life. This could happen through short periods of daily silence, whether through meditation, walks in nature, or simply sitting quietly in a room. During these moments, allow yourself to think, reflect, and simply be. Secondly, consider practicing a digital detox. Setting aside specific moments each day to disconnect from devices can provide us with the necessary space for reflection and inner peace, affirming our independence from the constant demands of our attention and creating space for solitude. Thirdly, solitude is not just about being physically alone, but also being mentally and emotionally alone. This means learning to detach from the need for approval, the urge to compare ourselves to others, and the desire to conform to societal norms. It's about learning to stand firm in our beliefs and decisions, even if they go against the crowd. Treat it as an essential part of your self-care routine, something non-negotiable. Don't see it as a punishment, but as a necessity for personal growth and self-understanding. The world today is different from Musashi's, but the teachings he derived from solitude are timeless. By integrating these principles into our lives, we can learn not only to be alone, but to thrive in solitude, finding peace and fulfillment within ourselves. Facing the challenges of solitude is not always easy. It often goes against our primal instincts of connection and social interaction. We may even fear solitude, associating it with isolation or rejection. In our globalized world, choosing solitude may seem counterintuitive, even counterproductive. But understand that solitude is not an all-or-nothing concept. You don't have to retreat to a cave or live as a hermit to experience it. It's about finding a balance, incorporating periods of silence and reflection into your daily life. It's a conscious choice, a deliberate act. It's about taking time for yourself, for your thoughts, and for your inner peace. Finally, embrace the discomfort that may come from it. This discomfort is a sign of growth, a sign that you are challenging yourself, pushing your limits, and stepping out of your comfort zone. Remember that the path to reaching your full potential inevitably requires a period of solitude. It may not be easy, but it is undoubtedly rewarding. And perhaps, like Musashi did, you too will discover how solitude can truly change your life.